All right, Nick, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'd say this a lot, but I truly mean it. It's probably one of the most exciting teams in football this offseason. Big shots, big changes at the quarterback position. A lot of great guys coming in through the draft. New coaches on this sidelines this year. I think it's going to be a really good year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But let's talk about the draft picks. Because when you're a new draft pick, you come into the locker room, you see all of these, older guys. It's like when you go to your first day of high school, you're a freshman, you see the seniors, you see, sophomores, juniors, all standing around the school, and you really want to make a good impression. And it seems one of the young Steelers linebackers in particular has made a very strong impression on also fellow new guy, but veteran new guy, Patrick Queen. And I think this is a really, really good sign. Let's get into the article and we can talk more about this on the other side. This, of course, is over on Steel City Underground and says, considered by many to be the best interior linebacker taken in the draft this year, Wilson has become welcomed into the fold, especially by Patrick Queen, a veteran linebacker who formerly played with the Baltimore Ravens. Steelers rookie linebacker Payton Wilson has caught the early attention of Patrick Queen. His first impression? Athlete. Got that mindset. You can kind of tell the way he talks. He's a really smart player. That's the type of guy you want in your room. Nick, this again from Steel City Underground. I think these are really strong words to describe a player. I love when they talk about guy is smart. He fits into the room already. Means he's got the same mentality as some of these other great linebackers now on this Steelers roster. Curious what your thoughts are though, but Steelers fans, in the comment section below, as we come into OTAs, we're starting to see guys pop up. We're starting to see really strong players rise to the top. We're going to talk about Payton Wilson, but I want you to let us know, who are you looking at to break out early on in Steelers rookie minicamp, OTAs, spring training camp, summer, all the way into the preseason? Who do you think is going to stand out as a young player that has come onto this Pittsburgh roster? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. But Nick, what do you think about Queen's comments on Payton Wilson?
Well, so I think it's part of a larger narrative. And, one of the things on this channel we always like to talk about, so we're looking for corroborating evidence in terms of a player doing well, certainly a rookie, right? And what we mean by that is, look, one guy can say one nice thing about a player, and that's great, that's important, but you always want to look for multiple sources, multiple angles, right, to see, okay, if a lot of people are heading in a direction, that usually means there's something to that. And when it comes to Payton Wilson, there's a lot of people that are really high on this kid, and not just current Pittsburgh Steelers. How about Pittsburgh Steelers coaching legend Bill Cowher? Reportedly, according to 247sports.com, reached out to Payton Wilson and said, hey man, you're a hard worker. Keep at it. Stay the course. Right? Cowher, very impressed with Wilson. How about the Pittsburgh Steelers current coaching staff themselves? Recently, during team drills, they went to a dime defensive package, one linebacker, 4 corners, 2 safeties, right? And that kept Wilson as the lone linebacker, right? That's a lot of trust. That's a challenging position to be in that situation. And the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff are willing to see what Wilson can do in that opportunity, that's a lot of trust as well. So you're seeing current Steeler linebackers, Patrick Queen, obviously very accomplished guy, spent a lot of time with the Baltimore Ravens. Good to see him in Pittsburgh. I'm sure you Steelers fans out there. You have Bill Cowher, obviously Pittsburgh Steelers legend, impressed by him. And you have the current coaching staff of the Pittsburgh Steelers impressed by him. Literally everyone is blown away by this kid. In fact, we were blown away with him as well. We thought he was a great pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the injury concerns are one of those weird things where it's just, I understand why people, he's got the knee problems, but all he was a heck of a football player in college, even with those injury concerns. And it's not like he had an elite team around him covering it up, where it was like, hey, he got to make a lot of tackles because he had 5, first-round pick defensive linemen in front of him, like you'd see at maybe Georgia or Alabama or something like that. He played at NC State, right? Completely different environment. So Payton Wilson's a guy right now that is just crushing it in every level. This is not going to be a guy who's going to come in and play a little bit, maybe special teams. I think he's going to be a big-time contributor early on. And I like the first-round selection, Tackle Fatanu. I think he was a great pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I really like the Pittsburgh Steelers draft in general. But I think when it's all said and done, Wilson, I think, will be the most important and the best and the most impactful player in this draft because we're seeing the foundation set for that right now.
Yeah, Nick. And when we talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, this team is just so different, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It used to really just be, Watt, Highsmith, and then Cam Hayward. Your front was really great. Fitzpatrick back in the back was really strong. But outside of that, the middle of the field, kind of a weaker section, I would say. Really, since Ryan Shazier left, I don't think when he had that accident after he left the Pittsburgh Steelers, they haven't really found their guy in the middle to kind of take over. I think Patrick Queen is a good example of a guy that can go there, but I really think Payton Wilson is another guy that can come in and start making a strong presence in the middle of the field. Got some other new guys around the ball as well. Deshaun Elliott comes in the fold. Dante Jackson comes into the fold. They got the young guy, Joey Porter Jr. now on the boundaries. I think this team is really shaping up, and I think a guy like Payton Wilson is coming from a situation where if he would have came into the Steelers last year, it would have been a lot on his shoulders to really come in and kind of like carry this team. Now he has such a good environment to come in. He has so many strong leaders around him, like a guy like Patrick Queen, who I think is a great example for him to look up to and learn from. I really can see Payton Wilson thriving in this defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers and becoming an absolute star. We know they know defensive talent. They've been searching for a linebacker. They've gotten great linebackers before. I think they hit, and I think they've actually, made it into a situation where both Payton Wilson and this defense are going to thrive because they've come together at actually the right time.
And one of the weird things is that he sort of, I'm talking about Wilson here, he fits what the Steelers really kind of need in a linebacker right now in terms of old school, physical, tough tackling machine, right? Because sometimes sometimes if you need a linebacker, you're looking for a Derek Brooks cover two, get in coverage, make plays kind of guy. Sometimes you're looking for a pass rusher kind of guy, right? The Steelers, I think we can all agree, they have a lot of playmakers on defense. They just don't have, like they had in years past, that physical, that just old school mentality in the middle of the field. They've clearly been missing that. Like I think you brought up a great point, since Shazier had his injury and had to stop playing football. And I think Wilson's the guy to give him that edge back. And I think that's why everyone's really excited in terms of Steelers coaches, Steelers players, and Steelers legends with Payton Wilson coming to Pittsburgh. This was a great addition to the Steelers defense.